All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the 2-1 Seattle Seahawks coming off a 37-27 victory yesterday afternoon at home against a hungry and talented Carolina Panthers defense. Mad respect, mad props to not only Andy Dalton, but to the entire Carolina Panthers team. They made it a game, but Seattle in the second half started to put some touchdowns on the board. Shout out Kenneth Walker III. The dude was on a mission yesterday, but they put up 25 points in the second half to get the job done. This is back-to-back weeks now where the Seattle Seahawks offense and team in general has put up 37 points against an impressive Detroit team. And Carolina's defense is really good. Don't let that 0-3 record fool you. Carolina, their future is looking good. There are still some things that Seattle has to clean up. I'm not a huge fan of their red zone efficiency. I'm not a huge fan of their third down conversions. We're going to talk about a lot of this in today's video, but keep in mind, we're 3 weeks in, and the injury bug on the offensive line and just all over Seattle's team, they've caught the injury bug. And I've never thought I would say this because I hate having bye weeks early on in the season. The Seattle Seahawks bye week is 2 weeks away. You got next Monday night matchup on the road against the New York Giants, and then you get into your bye week. And I think every Seattle Seahawks fan would appreciate that right now just to get this team healthy because, you know, even though they're not playing a perfect brand of football, like their first 15 points yesterday were all field goals. That offensive line's depleted, man, and they got it going in the second half. Geno Smith, 23 of 36, 296 yards, a touchdown and an interception. But Kenneth Walker offensively stole the show. The dude was all over the place. He had a great statistical game, but his impact was even bigger. We're going to talk about the Seattle Seahawks in today's video, but before we do, if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button, hitting that sub button if you haven't already. I do post daily NFL content along with probably 2 or 3 Seahawks videos every single week. Seahawks fans, if we could get this video to 300 likes for that victory, it would mean a lot to me. So Kenneth Walker III, man, and also Zach Charbonnet, you know, a little sugar and spice and everything nice, man. Sign me up. I want both. I want both. BOAF. Give me both of them. This Seattle Seahawks running back room is extremely talented. They're very young. Kenneth Walker had an extremely impressive rookie season. Zach Charbonnet, an intriguing young rookie drafted out of UCLA. They were sugar and spice, man. They certainly were everything else that was nice. That didn't really make too much sense. But Kenneth Walker, 18 rushes, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a long of 36. He also contributed 3 catches for 59 yards. The dude was all over the place in the second half. Kenneth Walker III. And by the way, Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker III, I love their demeanor. The entire Seattle Seahawks demeanor is awesome. I feel like they are playing so hard. They're playing so hungry, but like, you know, Charbonnet to end that game gave a guy that got, I forget who he hit at the goal line. That dude's going to feel that tomorrow. These are some hard hitting running backs. And who's a running back's best friend? It's the quarterback. Or who's a quarterback's best friend is the running back room. Zach Charbonnet, 9 carries, 46 yards. He averaged 5.1 yards per carry. We saw the Zach Charbonnet that we saw in college in his tenure at UCLA, and it's just the start, baby. It is just the start. DK Metcalf continuing to establish himself as a star wide receiver in this league. He had 6 catches for 112 yards. But as we were mentioning, you know, keep in mind, man, this offensive line they're hurt. Their tackles are hurt. Geno had time. There were also times where, you know, he had to scramble. The depth has held up very nice. I think every Seahawks fan would agree with this. Let me know if you do. The offensive line depth has held up very nicely. All right. Very, very nicely. There are some things I need to see cleaned up. Yesterday, for example, they were just 3 of 13 in third down efficiency. There were just too many like 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 7s where they put themselves in 3rd and 10s, just too many 3rd and longs yesterday where they put themselves in kind of a difficult position. But still, it's going to take time, right? It's going to take time. And once again, man, I have so much respect. I have to give so much props and so much praise to that Carolina Panthers defense, especially in, the first and second half. Seattle was moving the chains. They were getting the ball down the field in the first half specifically as opposed to the second half. They just weren't getting touchdowns. Keep in mind, though, field goals are extremely important. We know, this was a big game for the kicker. This was a huge game for Myers. Bounced back, 5 of 5 for a long of 43. It was a huge game for Jason Myers. You know, he had an iffy first 2 games. Big game for him. It's funny because special teams is one of those positions where you never really appreciate special teams. Like, you never appreciate kickers. I also want to talk about DJ Dallas. The dude's done a phenomenal job in special teams. 2 kickoff returns yesterday for an average of 27 and a half, 3 punt returns for an average of 14. It's special teams is one of those things where you don't fully appreciate it until you either have a great special teams unit or a horrible special teams unit. So great game. I loved the field goals. Obviously, you wanted touchdowns, you wanted better red zone efficiency, but we just have to keep in mind that this offensive line is banged up, and it's certainly making an impact. Now, the offense isn't the only thing banged up. The defense is banged up, but they did what they needed to do. Once again, a lot of praise, a lot of respect. Got to give respect to your opponents. Andy Dalton, the Red Raider, did a phenomenal job without Bryce Young, just trying to get something going, especially kind of like in that fourth quarter. Third quarter, there were some drives that they had that were nice, that kept them in the football game. But, the 37-27 victory, I mean, the second half was all Seattle. Seattle in the second half looked like the Seattle that we were talking about in this past summer. If you guys are new to the channel, I have the Seattle Seahawks winning the AFC West. In fact, in the NFC in general, I really like where Seattle is sitting right now. This defense is so intriguing. It's a lot of these new guys coming on in here. Devon Witherspoon led the Seahawks yesterday in tackles. He was the rookie out of Illinois. I still have to buy his jersey. Don't worry about that. Sack and a half. Jerron Reed pretty much sealed the game for him. That defensive line has changed tremendously. They've traded tremendously. Jermont Jones, Jerron Reed. It's a different Seattle Seahawks defense than it was last season. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think they were ranked like 25th or 26th defensively points per game wise this past season. It's going to take time, man. There's a lot of new faces on this defense. I mean, you could go up and down the list. There are a lot of new guys on this team. Keep in mind, players are injured. A win is a win in the National Football League. And even though Carolina is 0-3, don't let that record fool you. Their future is looking bright. One thing I do want to see moving forward is a little bit more versatility or creativity with the wide receivers. DK's been getting his bag. Tyler Lockett had a quiet game, 3 catches of 34 yards. Love the tight ends. We've talked about it time and time. We talked about it all year last year. Noah Fant, Colby Parkinson, Will Disley. I love their 3-headed trio at the tight end position. It gives you a lot of versatility. Just helps your offense get to that next level, having these versatile tight ends. But JSN, only 3 targets. He only had 1 catch for 10 yards. He did a nice game. What he had, like 5 catches for 40 yards against Detroit. We have yet to see JSN, the rookie, the first-round draft pick, kind of fully unlocked, which makes sense. The dude's a rookie. He's played in 3 NFL games. It's going to take time. But it's something to keep in mind, especially after the bye week. That's when I think we're really going to see JSN ascend into kind of the star wide receiver that we're predicting him to be. And then finally, we have Jake Bobo. I just want to see more Jake Bobo. The guy's an Energizer Bunny. He caught the game-winning. They pretty much won the game, but he caught the game-clinching touchdown. Finished the day with just 2 targets, a catch for 5 yards, and a touchdown. It was his, I believe, second ever catch in the NFL. Jake's a guy who killed it in camps. He killed it in preseason. I just want to see a little bit more going on with this wide receiver room. But once again, the offensive line, the offensive tackles are banged up. So that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. We'll do a breakdown video, more in-depth breakdown video as the week progresses. So stay tuned for that. But guys, hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. But more importantly, give me a confidence rating on the Seattle Seahawks team. Any opinions, any thoughts? Thank you guys. That's it. See you next time.